I believe most of you actually came for real life demos, and not for. Sorry, Robert.
Okay, I can believe it.
No, I also believe that probably first, let's say the beginning was a little bit boring for some, because I recognize there are a lot of people that already have vast experience with Tosca and Test automation in general. Yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over the stage to Peter Holotik. Peter Holotik has huge background when it comes to SAP. And then somewhere in the middle of his career, he actually basically decided to change towards test automation. For a couple of years, he spent his life with Worksoft, Certify. You may also have heard about this one. And then we all realized that actually Tosca is the go-to solution for future. So he will basically introduce you to Tosca. And then also he has managed to prepare a couple of demos that are on SAP, but also not only SAP, also on the web and some others. Feel free to even, maybe when we are showing the demos, feel free to raise a hand and ask a question. Maybe it will be easier not to wait till the very end. So if you have any particular question already during the demo, feel free to step in. Okay. Peter, thank you.
All right, so I'm Peter Holotik, and I will give you a brief introduction to the Tosca, and then we will go through some advanced features which Tosca offers us. So before we start, at the first, we need to imagine that Tricentis Tosca products are not just Tosca, as we will be speaking here for most of the time, but there is many more. So, for example, for performance testing, there is Neoload, and for example, for SAP, there is a live compare, which will be last presentation, so very quite exciting. But during my presentation and the presentation later on will be specifically about the Tosca. So we will start with simple showcase where we were creating some showcase what Tosca could do at the beginning when we start with the Tosca. And then we will move to the Tosca advanced features, which are, for example, well, there is a web test, web automation, but it's obviously not so advanced stuff. But there were some things which we can say that it's kind of advanced. Then we will go to API. This will be really quick. And we will end with Tosca test case design. And that's probably what I'm most excited about, because we will be going directly into the system and I will show you what it can do. All right, so before we start with this demo, I would like to introduce you also from my background. And I started in a company which were going through major testing phases. So maybe just who was heavily involved in testing in waterfall project model? Is here someone like that? Okay, so me too. Basically, what was happening at the first, there were development which ended. Then there was quick phase of unit testing where developers tested their stuff, and then started either cluster test, UAT, user acceptance test, and at the end there were integration tests where it was tested end to end. And this is exactly what was happening in our company. Let's take, for example, procure to pay stream. So we have stream from the procurement, which decided to bought something, prepare purchase order, then went to the accounts payable when invoice was posted, and then it went straight to the payment factory. So during this end-to-end testing, you can imagine that when I received end-to-end test as SME, I had to first go to the procurement. Let's imagine it was invoice posting. So there was procurement involved. So I had to write an email to a procurement or call them. I need this type of PO, and they prepare it and send it back to me. So it's first person which is entering the process of testing. Then there was my part, because I was part of the accounts payable, and I do the PO, and I started doing the posting. I posted, first I posted good received, and then I went straight to the posting. So when everything went fine, this was kind of okay. Then I took the posted document and went to the payment factory, which did a payment run with this document. So altogether 3 people. So it was one simple end-to-end test case. And okay, now when you automate it, it doesn't make as much sense. But when you think what would happen if there would be, I would give a procurement data, and they prepared a PO which is not working. So they are sending it back to me, and I am sending it, for some reason it's not working. I am sending again, please prepare a new PO. Then during the posting, when the PO is right, but maybe I did some mistake while posting. So there's again some problem, and we are still not getting to the end. So at the end, we are getting a 3rd or let's say 4th PO, and I'm not counting in case there is a defect, which is even making this process to be repeated even more times. So if we would automate this process, we could, for example, put it in 3 blocks, where the first block would be for procurement, which would deliver us purchase order. Then a second block, there will be input of the purchase order into the second block of the accounts payable part, which will do then posting with the PO, and will deliver the accounting document to the payment factory round, which will be the 3rd block. So this is, we call it test case chaining, because we are chaining it with the data. So altogether, you could possibly save a lot of work, maybe even 3 people, because also you can later use the test case on a regression test. So this test case, if it was automated, it never should be forgotten. So, and this is the showcase. We prepared something from manufacturing, because concircle is quite strong in manufacturing. And here we decided that we will prepare, it's still PO, but it's production order. And we are preparing the production order. Then we are going straight to the Fiori, which we are demonstrating that Tosca has no problem going from one sub-technology to another one. And this transaction is standard. So you can see that standard is not doesn't have any problem with Tosca. And then we are also automating our own custom development transaction. And I will start now. So basically here you can see that we are starting it. And as soon as we will log into the SAP, there will be creation of production order.
Peter, if I may step in. So this is all done automatically. Yeah, I know we recorded video because it's difficult actually to do a live session because of different screen resolutions and so on. But basically, this is already done by Tosca. Even the logging in, everything is done automatically.
Yeah, thank you. And there was a special request for this table. Basically, what was happening there, that customer or the request was to store all of the unique work center names there. And probably this is not part of the Tricentis Tosca guidelines or best practices, because you should not do this, but you are still able to do dynamic lists in Tosca, and it's really good. So this is what I like about the Tosca, that Tosca has its guidelines, but gives you the freedom to do even more advanced stuff, and you don't have to code in C# and so on. So here we are reading this table, and storing these unique values. And this is exactly why Tosca is warning us against it, because it takes a little bit longer. But in the end, we are getting all of the cost centers, and then we will enter the SAP Fiori. And this is already happening. So when we get there, we will use all those cost and work centers where the production is happening. We are going to the specific capacity transaction, and there we will enter all of those work centers and see if there is enough capacity. So a good thing is about this buffering, how you can do this dynamical list, is that those buffers stays filled even after you run the test. So imagine you run the test in the evening and you return early in the morning, and all of those data are still filled with the test which was run last time. So this is really good for debugging. And another, I will be showing that also in next demo or next video, where we use that for checking of the PDF. So these are all the unique IDs which we are using. And now you can see that these are the capacity of each of the work center. The first one is a little bit overfilled, but those other are okay, so we are moving on. Then, as I was saying, the next transaction is custom development by concircle, and we are entering it right now. Its name is ConOS, and ConOS is innovative ERP add-on for detailed planning. You can see there. And actually, this is flagship of concircle, and it's quite good stuff. So if you ever be in manufacturing, you definitely should check it out. And now, again, the same thing is happening. We are filling the cost centers for this, and this is almost end of it, because we will just go inside and we will show the production order. And this is really interesting here. There is this little field which uses dynamical filtering. It will be over there soon. And normally, if you enter it by hand, the letters and the numbers, as a human, it will give you the filter of the data. However, if you do it with Tosca or any other automation tool, the thing would probably some already experience that filter will not work, because it is not used for such quick insert of data. And this is good that Tosca has this simulation of the human activity, and we solve this little thing with this functionality. All right, so the next web automation, basically this is showcase which is based on true events. So we had a O2 customer and we were preparing a POC. And what happened? They gave us, let's say at the beginning, it looked quite easy. They wanted us to log into the web application, what they have for their customers, then go to the list of invoices. And so far, so good. Then we had to download the PDF file of some specific invoice, check some data, and that was it. So that sounds quite fine at the beginning, but then there was this little sentence about that they would like us to store JStation ID. And at first, it seems still not as a big problem, because obviously Tosca can run JavaScript, so you could write a JavaScript to get the cookie. But little did I know back then that JSession ID was HTTP only, so you cannot get it just like that because it is encrypted. So this was at the beginning, this was kind of challenge. We did not know how to do it at the beginning. And this is quite powerful thing what Tosca has. That Tosca is not only automating just a little web window, but you can go also outside from it. And we decided that we will do it, that we will automate web browser UI. So at the end, and you will see that in the video, we are going to the settings and going straight to the JSON session ID, and we are reading the JSON session ID directly from the web browser interface. So this was, again, kind of interesting that it was possible to do that. Okay, and now we will run it. So it starts, it takes a little bit longer at the beginning because there is a check if it will be run for first time and all the cookies need to be created. So this is taking some time, but at the end we have to be really quick because it will start going straight to the settings. So if you want to catch that, how we did it, it will begin almost probably now. And there were I thought that I could go directly to the files where the cookies are stored on the computer. And the problem was that it was encrypted even there. So it was really not that easy. And this seems to be only one possible solution how to do it. But at the end, it was really good that we were able to do it. So now what will be happening if we will be going into the invoice and we will download the PDF file. And at the end, we decided that it is kind of boring and we will add also PDF comparison. So I don't know if it's possible to see, but there is 300, which was on the app. And now I will open here the invoice what we downloaded. And on the downloaded invoice is obviously the same value as it was in list. So here you can see there is 366, if I remember correctly, yes. And this also was done as a comparison. And you can see that it compared to some numbers, and no wonder it is positive and green. So, and this is now where Tosca comes again strong, and this is what you can do with buffers. So again, what I'm doing here, I am manually changing the value in the buffer, and I will run the last step of comparing of the PDF file, which with this new number will be red. And now, as you can see, it is red, and now he's comparing the new value, which should be stored from the web application, but I changed it with the original value from the PDF. And here you can also see here the work centers IDs. I don't know if it's too small, but this is how was it done dynamically